So welcome back, everyone. I thought we'd take a few minutes this nice evening to talk about three things I absolutely hate about having a rooftop tent on top of my TJ. So let's get into it. Okay, the first thing is how the Jeep drives. Let me tackle on-road first. It drives perfectly fine on-road. Yes, you do notice the tent is there a little bit, but it's not scary. You can take your normal corners. You can do your normal highway driving. In fact, for me, I don't really know that the tent actually hurt my MPG too much because the front is so square anyway. I think the wind kind of goes up and over before it hits the tent. But realistically, it probably does drop me 1, maybe 2 miles a gallon with the roof, with the tent up there. More importantly, though, is off-road. I don't feel confident in my Jeep anymore. I don't want to take it rock climbing. I don't want to take it on crazy trails. And it's because I don't feel confident side hill or getting the Jeep twisted up. That's because I feel like the Jeep isn't stable off-road anymore. That's even with tightening my Curry anti-rock up quite a bit to help compensate for that. And it does. It does compensate it, but I don't feel confident in what my Jeep can do anymore. And this is the first time I've had that happen. I've done a lot in my Jeep, a lot of rock crawling, and I know what it can do. Even with 33s, I know what it can do. And I don't feel like my Jeep could do any of those currently with the rooftop tent on. So that is one reason why I hate the rooftop tent. Let's move to reason number two. Okay, so the second thing I hate about my rooftop tent is the ladder. It's awful, absolutely awful. I spent 30 minutes one time trying to figure out the best way to support the tent with the ladder because I couldn't get it locked in properly. I was on a slope on this side of the Jeep where my ladder comes out, and because of that, this ladder is one of those telescoping ladders where it has multiple rungs, and with that, I was right in between one of the latch points. So I could not get the ladder to latch properly and support this side of the tent. What I ended up doing is I ended up just locking it further up and sleeping with my tent basically like this throughout the night because it was the best I could do. I even tried shoving little rocks under it to see if I could get it to lock in a different position, and I never could. So I'm tired of dealing with the ladder. It's a pain. Getting up and down of it at night is a pain. I've almost slipped off of it. My wife has almost slipped off of it. The rooftop tent on a trailer, fine, but way up here, it just sucks. The ladder is not a good design, I think. It needs more latching points so you can finely tune the ladder, because when it's way up here, you may not have that full rungs worth of adjustment. You may not have that ability when there's a slope coming up this side, and that's just how it is. On flat ground, it works just fine, but on unlevel ground, that ladder is something to be desired, and it's slick. It's real slick. I don't like that. Put the tent lower, probably be okay because you'd have more ladder to deal with. But I'm not a fan of this ladder, not at all. On to the third thing. Okay, so the third and final thing I hate about this rooftop tent is it being on the roof. It's terrible to set up and take down. It's absolutely awful. It takes about a half an hour each time to set up and take down. You're jumping around the thing like a bird, and you have to be way on top of it, and you really have to manhandle all its components, which gets exhausting day in and day out. Every evening and every morning you have to do this. You have to contort your bodies in weird ways because you want to keep 3 points of contact. You want to keep yourself on the vehicle while you're doing this because a lot of things have a tendency to throw you off balance. So you have to unthrow these buckles with one hand, and then you have to unzip it by switching hands the entire time. And then you got to do the interior buckles after you've worked this cover completely off, which is really tight. It's a good thing, but it's really tight. And then once you get the thing open, right, using the ladder and opening it is the easiest part that everyone shows. But then once you get it open, getting the stupid spring rods to actually pop the windows open is a nightmare for me. Basically what I resort to, for the exception of the window where the ladder is, basically what I resort to is unzipping the windows and leaning my body halfway out of the tent so I can get the spring rods and get the leverage to get the spring rods in. It's not that I'm a really weak person, it's that I'm a little bit smaller, and it takes the length of your body to do this. And when you're hanging off the back of your Jeep and there's boulders around you, you have a tendency to get thrown off balance with these spring rods and knocked off. And I've fallen off the back a few times and almost hurt myself. I've caught myself by grabbing onto the rack and holding on for dear life. But it's not a good thing. I can foresee myself getting hurt on this tent. So that is the third and final thing that I absolutely hate about this tent. So let's recap. Okay, so do I hate this rooftop tent? Actually, I think the tent is really nice. It's much better built than the Smitty built, and I'll do a full review on it later on. But it is a well-built tent, and it is really nice, and it's very comfortable to sleep in. But the three things that I hate most, I hate how it handles off-road, or how the Jeep handles off-road. I hate the ladder on it. And then I also hate how I have to be a gymnast, essentially, to open and close this thing. And it sucks. It absolutely sucks. I do not have fun camping in this thing. So I'm probably going to get rid of it. Or I might stick it on a trailer, and I could see the benefits of a trailer. Honestly, and I'm rambling here a little bit, but another huge pet peeve, a bonus pet peeve with this thing is that you have to pack it up every time you go somewhere. You can't just set up base camp and go wheeling if you want. You've got to pack up your camp every single night to go somewhere. A huge pet peeve, and I don't like it. So anyway, guys, so those are the three main reasons and a fourth bonus on why I hate having a rooftop tent on top of my TJ. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like what's going on the channel, hit subscribe down below. As always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you in the next one. I just have to show you this in the video. This cat has no worries. What a life.